Hello, everyone. It's Tracy coming to you live from New Hampshire Writers Project headquarters, and we're here for another live broadcast with one of our featured members. And this morning we're talking with Dick Groves. How are you, Dick?
I'm doing great. And how are you doing today, Tracy?
I am doing well. It's great to talk. I'm glad you could join us to have our listening audience learn a little bit more about you, about your book, which we're going to be talking about, and learning a little bit more about the Holiday Showcase. If you have not yet seen any of our live broadcasts, the Holiday Showcase is actually a collection of over 55 of our member author books on our website at nhwritersproject.org, where you can go and find great opportunities for those book lovers in your life. Check them off your gift giving list. And it also helps promote and support the local literary community. So we are grateful to you for your support. So let's get into it, Dick. You've written a really interesting book here that I can't wait to learn more about. But first, let's learn a little bit more about you and your writing career.
Sure. Well, I have written many technical pieces in microbiology graduate school, and then in a 38-year career as a dentist in both the Navy and private practice. But I always wanted to write fiction. James Michener's many historical fiction novels, such as Tales of the South Pacific, which, of course, the movie South Pacific was based on, and then Centennial, on which the very successful TV series was based on, always inspired me. I wanted to be Michener, write the detailed great American novel. So it inspired me to begin the first novel, which was based on my father's and my uncle's lives before, during, and after World War II. Starting and stopping several times, I didn't get very far. Life always got in the way. But in addition, I didn't know what I was doing. No idea what I was doing. I mean, technical writing is totally different than real writing.
Yeah.
So about that time, I saw an advertisement for the great courses, got it in the mail. And one of them was writing great fiction. So I took that and I was hooked. I studied several books on writing, joined Writer's Digest, took a lot of their courses, and off I went with a newfound passion. Now, I've always loved the sport of football, and during the heyday of Tom Brady and the Patriots versus Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts, I saw an opportunity to fictionalize that relationship. I soon changed the focus to an idea that was emerging, and that was the controversies involving poor officiating. Calls were being made that changed game results and standings. The stakes were high with serious effects. What was going on? A seed was planted and it germinated into the hidden game. Now, the hidden game, it is in the crime, suspense, thriller genre, involves multiple characters, some with very important secondary plots supporting the main one. The main character protagonist, Tony Stravnicki, is an assistant coach who lives for the game, often to the detriment of his family. After a difficult loss, he is fed up and suspicious about the number of controversial calls against his players. Is it his coaching, bad luck, or something else? He intends to find out. What he doesn't know is that he's up against a ruthless organization where blackmail, violence, and murder are their tools, and no one will get in their way. While the story world is a fictional professional football league that I had to make up to be careful about the truth, only a few scenes really involve football. So it's not a sports novel per se. That's just the world it lives in. Murders, physical assaults, international money laundering, and a model turned undercover agent are key parts of the story. As an old school, life is black and white, play by the rules former player, Tony gets caught in the gray world of a sport where players and coaches are mere pawns, and the product and bottom line are all that are important. He soon finds out that the stakes are high as the cornerstones of his life, his marriage and family, his values, his coaching job, and a close relationship with a nephew are all under siege. His assistant dies under mysterious circumstances. His wife is attacked, and he's passed over for a key promotion, which should have been his. As the evidence mounts, he's torn about what he should do. Tony twice goes to this nephew, this favorite nephew, who's an FBI agent, only to be rebuffed. He can't be told that the FBI thinks Tony's efforts could compromise their own investigation. Desperate and determined, he makes a startling decision to force the issue. While it's a plot-driven story. Character development is important. The reader will find characters other than the main protagonist who must confront the demons torturing them and decide which path to choose. Readers can also, they'll find a fast-paced story with an intriguing twist around 2/3 of the way through it. As I wrote this, and I've often heard this from other people, sometimes the story takes you places that you don't anticipate, and that's exactly what happened here. So there's a bit of a turn about 2/3 of the way through.
Let me tell you, I already see the movie rights being auctioned off here. I can
I'm going
picture
to get
this
into that in a minute.
well, before we do that, I have to ask you though. So, are there any characters in your book here that you have painted as yourself? I hear that regularly from fiction authors who include themselves in one of the characters. Are there any characters that reflect your personality?
No, I have to admit, no,
Okay.
no one even remotely close.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Anybody, friends, family members, anything like that?
not really. No, that's a good thought for the future, though.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I always
Yeah.
find it interesting when fiction writers tell me that they, have worked some people in that they know. So
Well, it's just so much fun writing characters that are nothing like anyone you know. And it was a lot of fun. Frustrating, as I'll get into, but a lot of fun. So.
well, yeah, tell us a little bit what you're thinking about here, the movie rights.
Okay, let me flip forward to that for the moment here. So, I have just finished adapting the Hidden Game as a screenplay, and I'm in the process of submitting it to screenplay contests. Now, writing a screenplay was quite a challenge, lots of fun. It's very different from writing a novel. I understand now why people say movies based on books are often not the same as the book. I had more revisions with the screenplay than I did writing the novel.
Oh, wow.
I'm also, just to take that thread, I'm also 16 chapters into a second novel, not football related, but involving two key characters from the Hidden Game. The main plot of this one involves sex trafficking in the modeling industry. With sex trafficking and the whole Jeffrey Epstein saga constantly in the news, feel that may have a receptive audience there.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's also sounding interesting. Well, tell you what, I know that you've got a special passage to read for us as
Sure.
well. I'd love to hear kind of that section in your book that you really like.
Okay. This is from the very first chapter, just a couple of snippets from the very beginning. Tony Strevnicki's world began to unravel when he realized he had seen too much to merely be coincidence. Coincidence, he believed, is random. Today was anything but random. As the defensive backs coach for the Columbus Colonels of the National American Football League, he saw the yellow flag near his player for the fourth time today, slammed his clipboard, special gift from his players, to the ground. He could live with random, but not this fear that he was being played. If this was done on purpose, it meant his passion, his life's work, all he had ever done was rigged. His gum chewing accelerated to such a frenetic pace, he could barely get the words out. Come on, ref, no foul there. They were both going for the ball. His booming New York accent cut through the sideline noise like a frustrated parent at a 10-year-old soccer game. That one's going to hurt us. I can't believe this, he complained to all to hear, green eyes blazing. His signature backwards baseball cap, topped with a headset, hid his flat-top brown hair. His powerful build and frenzied pacing, evoking a caged tiger, were hard to ignore, and he created his own personal no-fly zone. He strode the sideline, oblivious to the controlled chaos swirling around him, as his mind desperately trying to make sense of what was happening.
I love
Second
that.
scene.
I love your style of writing.
Well, let me set the next scene. As side judge Frank Ohlendorf walked over to the meeting of the other officials, a deep, gnawing pain gripped his stomach and an icy shudder ran down his body. I must maintain control. I didn't think I would feel this way. As an official with 13 years' experience, he had received many accolades for his cool decisions in pressure situations when much was at stake. His mind had tried to tell him that today would be no different. His calls would be just like all the other calls he had ever made and would not cause suspicion. How wrong he had been in thinking it wouldn't bother him to compromise his integrity this way. I'm in control, just another game, no different. And then a final scene. Up in a lavish skybox, two powerful men toasted each other over a successful day. One man, casually dressed, took a sip of expensive wine, winked at his much younger wife, and said, "What a game. Boy, are things working out." "Working out indeed," the other man said, pride resounding in his commanding voice. A former player, his white shirt and red power tie, framed by a custom-tailored navy blue suit, emphasized his powerful build and projected the exact image he craved. "Well done, sir. Kudos to your visionary plan," said the casually dressed man, raising his glass in salute. So
Very nice.
it gives a
love
little
it.
taste.
Yeah. Well, and if you're just joining us, we are talking today with Richard Groves, who is the author of The Hidden Game. And he is one of our featured members in our holiday showcase, where we have over 55 books that are listed from our author members. And it's just a great way to support your literary community and check off that book lover on your gift giving list as well. So, Richard, I'm curious to find out from you this character, Tony Stravnicki. That is such an interesting last name. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I wanted something based on the vision of, and I won't name names in the NFL, coaches who were very similar to it. You asked earlier if it was anyone I knew, and not in my world, but some people would say, "Oh, you've patterned this off of," and they'd name the name, and I'd say, "Yeah, probably so."
Okay.
Many of the old school, early day people in the NFL were very ethnic. It's become quite diversified now, across all races, including many Pacific Islanders that go to school on the West Coast and have made huge impacts on the NFL. So it's a very diversified, atmosphere. Wasn't really that way, years ago.
Interesting. Well, and I want to make sure that we tell people how that they can get more information about you.
Yeah.
You can go to Richard's website at richarddgroves.com. Don't forget the D. And really, really important with sales of your book this year, I know that you are giving back 15% sales. And I want to mention and give a shout out to the organization you're supporting this year.
Yeah, that's Home Health and Hospice in Merrimack. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about them, why you're so passionate about supporting them?
Certainly. I actually lost my first wife, Sally, in 2012 to colorectal cancer. Now, she died at Mass General in hospital. But I was having I had been seeing a therapist, quite honestly, during the time that she was sick, because she was integral to my dental practice, and we were trying to keep the dental practice going, go down to Boston for Mass General. And I felt like being on the Ed Sullivan Show, where I'm spinning plates and, juggling balls. And I happened to mention that to my PCP, thinking, "Gee, I need some medication." And she goes, "No, I think you need to talk to somebody." So she actually put me in touch with a therapist who really helped me out before Sally died. After she died, the woman then said, "I've taken you about as far as I can, but there's an amazing organization in Merrimack that has spousal grief support groups." So I was open to that idea. I didn't know whether we were all going to, be in a circle and sing Kumbaya or what it was, but I thought I'd try it. And it was an amazing situation.
Wow.
So amazing that I met my current wife there back in 2012. She had lost her spouse the month after I lost Sally. We both liked it, and we're so grateful what happened with Home Health and Hospice. We actually took their volunteer program. We became spousal support grief facilitators, and we each did that, not with our group together. She had her groups, I had mine, for about 4 to 5 years. So they just an amazing organization. They do a wonderful job down there, and it's across many different ways they do it.
Yeah, Dick, that's an amazing story. And I'm so sorry to hear about your first wife, but thank you for sharing that with us and your passion for this organization. So if you go and you support Dick, either at his website to purchase his book or at nhwritersproject.org, 15% of his sales will be donated to this organization. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Dick, I have loved talking with you today. And before we part ways, is there anything else that you want our audience to know about you or your work?
Well, how much time do I have?
You've got about one more minute.
Oh, perfect. I'd just like to talk for the moment, if I might, about briefly describe how it became to be published. The book was published in June 2022 by Kohler Books. Like many, if not most, beginning authors, my journey to publication was long, tortuous, and frustrating. I began writing The Hidden Game in early 2017, spent the next 2+ years getting critiques from various writers' courses and submitting the first 3 to 5 chapters for evaluation. I was dismayed by the amount of subjectivity from professional evaluators. Time and time again, the advice and input received would contradict the advice and input from the previous person, resulting in much wasted time and frustration. Utilizing the input from New Hampshire's Writers Project, critique partners, and several beta readers, I decided to write the story I wanted to tell and get it done. By 2019, the first 4 drafts had been completed, and I began pitching the story to agents over 2.5 years. This too proved unsuccessful in publishing, but I felt I didn't have the technical expertise or the time to do it. In a serendipitous moment, I struck up a conversation with a neighbor, and her father was in the process of getting published by Kohler, who is a hybrid. His situation seemed remarkably similar to mine, and he was very pleased with the relationship with them. So I submitted it to Kohler and was accepted by them. It's obviously pay to play for certain aspects of it, and I was very, very pleased. Nowadays, all authors are responsible for their own marketing unless you're the top 1/1,000,000th of 1%. But it was a great experience, a great learning experience, and it got done. So there are alternative ways to publish if you really want to get it done.
That's wonderful, and congratulations to you. Yeah, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your time and
Well, I
everything that you've
appreciate
shared with
your
us.
doing this. This is great.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate your time and we hope you have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Have a
You
good
too now.
day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.